Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to this tutorial of Flask, and in this particular tutorial we will see how to create this website. Okay, so over here we'll be performing some CRUD operations like we will be registering the user, logging the user, like create user, get user, delete user, update user, all those kind of things. Okay, and over here we will see the list of the users when the users will be getting registered. Okay, so first of all I will create a user over here. Okay, let me see whether the user has been registered or not. Network error. Okay, so there is some error over here. My backend is not running, so let me just run my backend. Okay, so my backend is running right now. I'm registering the user. The user has been registered. Now I have been navigated to the login page. I will enter my credentials, and after that I'll be transferred to this particular page where I will see the list of the users. And over here I can edit and delete user only if that is my profile. Okay, so just now I created this particular profile over here. So over here just now I created this AX12 profile, so I'll be able to edit and delete only this particular profile, not rest of the profile, but I can see the user list over here. Okay, so in the previous tutorial I have already taught how to maintain this folder structure and everything, so I won't be doing that over again. So if I just go to the app.py, this is my main entry file, and requirements.txt is there, where you will see the list of packages which I have installed. So you can directly do the pip install, which I already taught in the previous tutorial. You can just go and check out the tutorial. So over here I have created one app over here, and I'm importing that from this source config file. Okay, so over here I have implemented the course code. Basically, if you don't do that, then you will face the difficulty while firing the APIs, okay, at the front end side. So that's why this course implementation is important. And this is for JWT. Okay, so JWT token what we will be generating, and over here I have registered my blueprint, and this code is basically to create tables in the database. So this I've already taught. So let me just go show you all what is there in the folder structure. So basically if you see in the config over here, so in the config I have basically integrated things over here, like secrets, like the secret key, the Alchemy database URI, and rest of the thing like of the JWT and everything. Like the course is also been implemented over here, and I have initialized a few things like the DB, bcrypt and JWT and all. So in this file, just ignore this code. This we won't be making use of. And I am having the controller. So let me just do one thing. Let me explain you all from the app.py over here. So over here I have registered this user blueprint, which I am importing from the source routes user blueprint, which is basically source. After that this routes, there are these routes, and user blueprint is there. Okay, from here I am importing this user blueprint and registering my user blueprint over here. So inside of this user blueprint I have declared the route for register, login, and if I want to get all the users, then I'll be hitting this, and if suppose I want to get specific user, then I'll be giving the specific user and then the ID of the specific user. Same goes for updating. I'll just give the ID of the user which I want to update, and if I want to delete some user, I'll give the ID over here. Okay, and these are the respective functions which I have declared over here, and I have declared these functions inside of the source controller user controller. If you just say source controller user controller, inside of this file I have declared these functions like the register user, login user, and get user, and all these things. Okay, so everything has been declared over here. So now let me just explain you what is going on. So first of all I am having this register user, so I am doing the request.get JSON. So I'll be getting this JSON data from the Postman. Let me just show you. So over here, like I'll be sending the data like this in the form of JSON from the Postman. Uh, I am using the Postman as of now, but this data will be coming from the front end side, which I've already taught you in the previous tutorial. Okay, so I'm sending the username, email, and password also. Okay, so whatever password I'm getting from the front end side, I'm hashing it with the help of the bcrypt. Okay, the hash password. So when I'll be adding the user to the database, I'll take the username the way it is coming from the backend. I am taking the email the way it is coming from the backend, or the sorry, I'll take the username the way it is coming from the front end side. I'll take the email the way it is coming from the front end side. But when it comes to the password, I'll be hashing the password, and that I am doing over here. Okay, so I am taking the password what has been sent by the user from the front end side. That I'm hashing it with the help of the bcrypt over here, and that hash password I am storing in the database. Okay, password is basically stored in the form of a hash, not the way it is the way it is like sent by the user. Then I'm adding the user to the DB and then committing the changes, and then I'm sending this specific message to the front end side that user has been created. Okay, user created successfully. During the login process, what I'm doing when user is trying to log in, user will be sending the data like this. User will send email and password or whatever that is on the front end side. I will basically take the data. I'll take the email first, or if the user is finding sending the email, I have to check whether the user exists in the database. Okay, this specific line, it will check whether the user is already there in the database. Okay, so if there is user, then only I will proceed further. If there is no user, or like if suppose password that has been entered by the user during the login process, if it is not matching, I'll say login failed, check the email or password. Either of the one thing is failing. Okay, so this is client side errors, that's why I'll throw the 401 error. Okay, and if suppose I mean if the user is found and if the password is right, then if it will not go in this if condition, it will jump over here and it will create the access token for me, and it will create access token with the user's ID. Okay, so this user which has been found, it will have some ID. Let me just show you the user model, this ID. Okay, so it will have the specific ID which I'll pass over here and generate the access token, and when the user will be logging in, I'll just send the access token at the front end side. And next I'm having the get users. So over here I'm implementing this JWT required. So when it comes to this JWT required, it is basically the middleware I'm implementing, so which says that as long as the user is not sending the JWT in the header, you will not give the list of the users to the that specific user. Okay, so now I'm seeing this list of the users. In order to get this list of the users, I should pass the token in the authorization. Okay, so over here I am passing the query. I'm executing the query which says users.query.all. That means it will give me the all the this thing list of the users. Okay, so then I will get the list of the users, like I will get the users in the form of array. Okay, and I will return that array to the front end side in the form of JSON. So I'll be JSONifying. So over here what am I doing? I'm saying user dot toDict. ToDict is basically the function which I have declared over here. Okay, so this is basically the serialization process. So when this toDict function is called, so it will basically over here what am I doing? I am running a loop. Okay, so I am saying user dot toDict for user in this users list. So this is like a for loop. It is going from I is equal to 0 to I is equal to n, like whatever is the number of the users, and it is serializing the data. Okay, so each individual user record, it is what I'm fetching from the backend side, it is serializing with this specific method. It is applying this toDict method on it, and it is serializing the data, and it is giving me the serialized data, and that serialized data will have ID, username, and email. Okay, so this is the data serialization, and I'll get the list of users like how I am seeing over here at the this thing front end side. Okay, and when it comes to the get specific user, over here what I'm doing, I'm just getting one specific user, only one user. Okay, so for that purpose what I'm doing, I'm executing this query which says user table, which is the specific user table. I'll say user.query.get. I will get specific user with specific ID, and ID I'll be passing over here. If I'm passing ID as 1, then whichever is the user with the ID 1, only that specific record will be I'm getting. Okay, then I have to check if that user doesn't exist. If the user, I'm not getting that user with the specific ID, that means that user does not found, I mean user doesn't exist. Okay, and if the user has been found, then I will JSONify and I'll send the data to the front end side. And when I'm passing the data to the front end side, I have to serialize the data with the toDict method. Okay, and this toDict method I have declared over here, over again, and I will send the status as 200 because I have found a user. And when it comes to the updating the user, I'll take the user ID. Okay, so when it comes to the updating the specific user, I have to make sure that I'm updating only my profile, not someone else's profile. Okay, so here there is like a not super admin or like a normal user functionality what I have implemented in middleware. I'm just checking for the JWT requirement. Okay, so in order to get the current user ID, I'll make use of the get JWT identity, and this get JWT identity, you will find this functionality inbuilt instead of the Flask JWT extension. Okay, so what am I doing? I'll just get the current user identity with this get JWT identity method, and this is basically you are specifying while creating the token. Okay, so here when we are creating the token, we are saying identity is equal to user.id. So here is the identity where we are declaring it. So during the updation process, I'll get that specific ID via this method get JWT identity. And then what I will do, I will try to get the specific user. I'll say user.query.get this specific user ID. Okay, so whatever ID I am passing from the front end side, that will come over here. And if the user doesn't exist, then I'll say user does not exist, user not found. And then again I will check. Okay, I will again check whether the current user ID, if it is not equal to the user.id, that means you're trying to update someone else's profile. So that's why I'm saying permission denied. So here I'm just checking key only you are allowed to update your profile only. So right now at the front end side, I'm logged in as a Aksh12. Okay, so I'm only allowed to edit or delete my profile only. I can't edit or delete these profiles. Okay, so it is been taken care over here. Then what am I doing? I am doing data is equal to request.getJSON. Whatever data I am passing in the form of JSON over here from front end side or from the postman, I will get that data like the username, email, whatever that is, and I will assign to the user's email and password. Okay, so if you check the user model over here, it is having the username, email, and password. You can update these parameters with these specific methods. Okay, and if suppose I want to update the password, then I have to make sure that I am again generating the hash of it. Okay, so whatever is the password, whatever the password I'm sending, I am again generating the hash with the bcrypt and assigning to the user.password. Then I will say db.session.commit. That means I'm committing those changes. And then I will give the message that user updated successfully. Okay, and now when it comes to the deleting the user, here I'm checking whether I'm deleting only my I mean here I'm making sure that I'm deleting only my profile, not someone else's profile. Okay, so I'll say get JWT identity. I'll get the identity from the token which has been stored, and I will get that current user identity, and then again I will get the user from the ID that has been passed. Okay, from here. So basically I'll check whether this user exists in the database. If the user doesn't exist, then I'll say user not found. Then I will check whether the current user identity is matching with the user ID which I am passing from the front end side. That means I'm trying to delete my profile only and not someone else's profile. And if the IDs are not matching, then I'm saying permission denied. I'm not giving the permission to delete. And if the IDs are matching, then only I'm able to delete the user, and I'll commit the session, and I'll say user deleted successfully. Okay, so these are the controllers which I have declared over here, and these are the specific routes. Okay, so now over here, when the deleting, updating, or getting the specific user, this user ID what is being passed over here, right? This specific user ID, this specific user ID will come from the routes. Okay, so from here it will come. So now let me just tell you what is going on. If suppose I want to get the specific user ID, then what I will do, I will come over here and I will put this route. Okay, so I'll say users, then I'll put the user ID like 1, and this is like a get method. Okay, I'll hit enter. Missing authorization header. Okay, so I have to put the authorization header over here, like the bearer token and all. Then only I'll be able to do it. But before that, I have to do the signing process and all. But if you put the bearer token and everything, you will get the data. I don't want to do that right now. You people can try it out afterwards. Okay. So this is how the data is in passed. You basically have to pass the user ID like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 2 or whatever that is. You have to pass that over here. Okay. So this was all about the backend. Now comes the front end side. So in the front end side, there are these few folders. Okay, so our backend is completed. Now comes the front end. At the front end side, I am having this folder called API auth.jsx. So over here, I am declaring the functions. Okay, so you can check out my previous tutorial in which I have taught all of these things, like how these things are working over here. So this API URL, so this is basically our backend URL where my backend is running. And now let me just show you where my backend is running. My backend is running over here. Okay, localhost 5000. So I am putting that backend URL over here. And for registration, what I'm doing axios.post API URL. Okay, so API URL /register, and I'm passing the payload over here, and I'm passing this payload from this function. Okay, so this is pointer function, and this user data payload is coming from here. Same goes for login. Okay, and then once this post request has been done, I'm getting some response, and I will return this response.data wherever this function has been called. Same goes for login. And when it comes to the get users, I am just passing this extra thing over here, which is called a header, and inside of the header I'm passing the authorization. Okay, and here is this is for the get single user and update user. While updating user also, I am making sure I am passing the header. Okay, to authenticate the user, whether the user is updating his profile only or someone else's profile, to put the restriction, and the same goes to the delete. And now let me just go to the components. Inside of the components, I'm having this navbar. So navbar is basically this specific top bar which I'm using, where there is a login, register, and the users button. You see, login, register, and users. So these three links are there. So this is the code for the navbar, and style of the code is written over here. This is the background color. Background color is like #333, just like a blackish color. And padding I have given like internal spacing like 1 rem. So over here it's like a unordered list. So these three items are unordered list, and list style type I have given as none because I don't want any styling like dot, checkbox, or whatever that is. Margin and padding I have given as 0. I don't want external or internal space. Display flex because I want all of them in a row kind of, and I've given the gap as 1 rem, gap between all the three items. Okay, and again when it comes to this list item over here, I am displaying them in line. Okay, on the line. And when it comes to this anchor tag, so basically this list links are there, right? So for that, what I've done, I've given the color as a white. Okay, so if you see, the color is white over here. So color is white. Text decoration I have given as none because I don't want underlines. Padding I have given like internal spacing, background color, and border radius I have given as 5 pixels. So this is like a border radius over here. You can see this border radius. And when I'm saying a.hover means whenever I'll be taking my cursor on top of this button, it will change the color. Okay, so now it can be seen when I'm taking the cursor on it, it is changing some slight color of it. So this is that slight color which is getting changed. Okay, so this is about the navbar. And now when it comes to my app.jsx, so and app.jsx, this is my main entry point, and I want to show this navbar over here. Okay, my main entry point. So that's why I have imported that navbar over here, and I have put, if I just comment out this navbar, I won't be able to see anything. Okay, but I want this navbar, so I'll uncomment and I'll save, and I'll see this navbar over here. Okay, and then I have declared these routes. So // is for login, / register for the register, / user for the user list, / edit user ID for the edit user. If I want to edit the users, I'll be going to this edit user page. So I have already taught this in the previous tutorial how to do these things. And now what I will do, I will go to the register component. Okay, so there this is register page is there. So in this function component, what I'm doing, this is the register page. It is taking three inputs: username, email, and password. Okay, it is basically taking these three inputs: username, email, and password over here. So this is the input field for the username, this is for email, and this is basically for the password. Okay, so you have to define the types. Okay, so when it comes to username, this type of the input is text. For email, type of the input is email, and type of the input for password is password. Basically, when I'm typing some password, I'm not seeing the any text, I'm just seeing the dots because the type of this input field is password. Okay, and over here, on change function is there, and when on change, basically whenever I am typing anything over here, at that time I am invoking this, basically I'm invoking this handle on change. Okay, so this handle on change function is there, which is basically taking an event is basically whatever I'm typing, that time event is getting triggered. Okay, that time what it is doing, it will take the specific event, and what it will do, it will say e dot target dot name. So whatever is the e dot target dot name, it will assign the e dot target dot value. Okay, so over here, e dot target dot name is username, email, or password in whichever field I am. Okay, so this might be a little bit confusing for you all. Let me just tell you what is going on. So over here, I am using the useState variable where I am declaring this object, and keys are username, email, and password. Okay, so now if suppose I am inside of this username input box. Okay, when I am inside of the username input box and I am typing Aksh over here. Okay, I'm typing Aksh, so that time this input form with the name of the username, this will be getting this will be triggering this particular method, which is handle change. Okay, so now what will happen key, now I am inside of this username and I am typing Aksh. Okay, so now what it will do, it will take this key username. Over here you can say username is here, and whatever Aksh I am typing, that is e dot target dot value, and it will assign that name Aksh over here. Okay, now you people might be thinking, what is this dot 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 form data? So dot 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 form data is what it is doing, it is copying the previous data. Okay, and it is overwriting whatever is the field after that. So how can I explain you all this thing? So right now, let me just show you all in this simple form. So basically, now let's consider this is the object. Okay, so now for very first time, okay, it is throwing an error. Okay, so very first time when I'll be typing my name as Aksh over here, right? So I'll be typing my name Aksh. Okay, and next time I'll be going to the next field and I'll be typing my email as aksh at gmail.com, right? And then I will type my password like 1234, whatever that is. So what is happening over here, key, like first time when I'm typing the Aksh, right, I'm typing the Aksh, and then when I'll be going to the next field like aksh at gmail.com, that time what will happen, as soon as I go here and I will enter this like aksh at gmail.com, this data will be getting cleared. Okay, if I don't put this spread operator and form data, this previous data will be getting cleared. In order to retain the previous record, I am just using this spread operator and form data, this specific variable form data. Okay, so this is basically retaining the previous data. So it will maintain this previous data, and when I'll be writing the password like 1234, it will return this record as well as this record as well. Okay, so there is not much I mean, it is not a rocket science. It's very easy to remember. So spread operator, it is basically used to retain the previous records. Okay, so this is it. And when I'll be like done capturing all these three datas, I'll be hitting this button. register button. Okay, so when I'll be hitting this register button, it will call out this particular function. Okay, so this is the form, and form is having this button type submit. When button is of type submit and you will hit it, it will trigger this handle submit button. Okay, so handle submit button will be triggered and it is taking an event. Okay, it is taking an event. When I say e.prevent default, this is basically to prevent a page from getting refreshed. So whenever if you don't put this line, whole page will be getting refreshed, but when you say e.prevent default, it will be preventing it from refreshing the page. Okay, then I will do one thing. I will use the async await. Okay, so async await I'm using over here. So this is the async function, so I'm doing await register, and whatever is this data is in form of object, like the username with this value, email with this value, and password with this specific value. So what am I doing? I am sending the data to this register function, and this register function I have already declared over here. Okay, over here it is taking that object and it is passing that object in the form of payload to this specific API. Okay, so let me just tell you what is going on over here. So where was it? Okay, so now when it comes to this form data is basically nothing but it will have this specific data. Okay, so it will have the username as Aksh and Aksh at gmail.com and 123456, whatever is the password. Okay, so at the end, when you will be done entering data over here on the register page, this will be the object. Okay, and this form data will be sent over here. Let me just comment out this line. So this form data will be going as a parameter to this particular function, register function, which is over here. That payload will come over here, and that payload will be sent to this specific API call. Okay, and user will be registered. So I hope this is clear. And same goes for login. Login process also same. Okay, same is happening. The same kind of payload will be there, which will be going for the login process, and I'll be logging in the user, and once the user has been logged in, once this API call is successful, I'll be navigating users to the forward slash users. Okay, and now what is this forward slash users? Forward slash users is the route which I have declared over here. Okay, so which is basically the user list. I will be getting the user list. So now where was I was on the login page, right? So over here on the login page, what is happening? You will pass the email and password and you will hit the enter key, right? So over here, this is the field for the email and this is the field for the password, right? So you'll be entering the email and password, and when you will hit login, it will trigger this handle submit e.prevent default, which I already explained you all. Then it will call this login function. Okay, login function, that payload whichever you are sending, email and password, that will come over here and it will be hitting this specific API with this specific payload, whatever you're sending from the front end side, which is email and password, and user will be logged in. And when the user will be logged in, your front end, this back end will be sending the token. Okay, and I will get that token instead of the response.data.token. Okay, in once I get the token, I'll be setting that token in the local storage. Okay, so I'll see local storage or set item. I will give the variable name of the token, and I'll be setting the token with the variable name of the token, and this will be the value which backend is sending. Okay, then I will set my token, and once that process has been done, then again I will come over here and I will navigate my front end site with the forward slash users, and forward slash users is nothing but user list. Okay, so once I log in, I will aksh12 at gmail.com. I'll be navigated back to the user list where I'm seeing the list of the users, the number of the users present in the database. Okay, so now let me just show you, explain you the user list. So in the user list, what am I doing over here? I am getting the list of the users. Okay, and I'm mapping them. So here you see the header as a user list, which is this specific header user list, and then I am mapping all the users. So in order to get these users, what I'm doing, I'm declaring the this use state variable in the form of array. Okay, I'm expecting the list of the users in the form of an array. So for that purpose, what I am doing over here, I'm using the use effect hook. Use effect hook, it is basically called whenever the component is rendered. So whenever I'll be coming to this forward slash users, it will call out this particular function, which is fetch data. Okay, in the fetch data, I am declaring this pointer function fetch data over here. Okay, I am declaring it over here, and I am calling this fetch data again here. Okay, I have to make a function call. As long as you're not making this function call, this function won't be getting executed. Okay, so what is happening inside of this fetch data? So fetch data is a pointer function. Just focus on this part only. Okay, fetch data is pointer function. It's a async type of function, and it is getting the users. Okay, and now where is this get user function declared? Get user function is declared in the API auth here. Okay, here it has been declared. So now let me just go to this particular function. So what it is doing, so when I am getting the users from the database, I have to authenticate like the user is having the token. Okay, so during the login process, I told you I have stored the token over here in the local storage, right? So set item is used to set the this token, and get item is used to get the token. Okay, so I want to get the token which is stored in the local storage. So I'll tell you where is this local storage. Let me just inspect and console. So network, where is it? Application and local storage. So now you can see this variable token is having some value, right? So this is the variable token, and this is its value which has been set. Okay, so here this is the token, and this is the value which is coming from the backend side, which is this specific value. Okay, so this specific value, the garbage kind of value that you are seeing, this is it. Okay, so now I will do one thing. I'll say token is equal to local storage dot get item. So basically I am trying to get this specific value. Okay, whatever is here. So now I will get that value, and then I will be passing that in the header as an authorization bearer token to authenticate it, to authenticate whether user is having the rights to get the users or not. Okay, so I'll be getting the list of the users, and once I get the result, once I get the response, I'll say response.data, and this function call will return this response.data. Okay, I'll be catching this response.data over again here in the form of a result, and I will set this data to the set users. Okay, so this use state variable is there, right, which is expecting data in form of array of the users. I will call this function over here, and I'll pass that data. Okay, and now I'll get the list of the users in this specific variable, and I will use this variable and map all my users, and I will doing that over here. Okay, so I'll use the open curly braces, close curly braces, then I'll say user.map. There are multiple users, so I'll take one specific user. I'll take the individual users, and for the individual users, what I'm doing, I'm displaying the username and the email ID, and these two buttons, one for edit and other one for delete. Okay, so this is it. This is what I'm doing for the first individual user. This is what I'm doing for second individual user, third individual user, and the fourth individual user. Okay, so this is how I am rendering the data on the front end side. If suppose I want to edit the user, then while editing the user, I am calling this handle edit, and I am passing the user.id. And if suppose I want to delete the user, I am calling out this function handle delete, and I am passing the user.id, that specific user's id, to this particular function. And now where this handle edit and handle delete has been declared, over here only. Okay, over here only it has been declared. So when it comes to the handle edit, I am navigating to the edit, and I'm passing the ID. So here I have declared this route edit, and I pass the user ID. Okay, so this might be a little bit confusing for you all, but if you watch the tutorial again, if you're not understanding, people will understand. So I am navigating to this /edit route, and I'm variably passing this user ID. User ID is variable over here. Okay, so I am doing that over here. And now if I go to the edit user, so if suppose I click on editing this specific user, I click on this specific user, you're seeing this ID. Okay, so this is the ID of this specific user. So now let me just go back. Let me just go to this test2 account. Let me click on edit. So ID of this test2 at test.com, ID of this user is 3. Okay, so now what is happening, I'm using the use params. When you use the use params, okay, so whatever is the ID over here, like whatever, like 4 5 6 3 4 5 6 7 8, whatever is the ID, this ID is been captured because of this use params and assigned to this user ID. Okay, so use params is basically used to capture the ID whichever is in the URL. Okay, so whatever IDs you are passing in the URL over here, it will capture that. Okay, so now it's a 2, so it will capture this ID 2 over here as a user ID. Okay, and now what it is doing, it will get the specific user with specific ID. Okay, it will capture the ID from there, it will send it to this specific function which has been declared in the auth.jsx. Okay, I'm passing that ID over here, and then I'm calling out this API to get me the specific user. Okay, I will get the specific user, and in the header I'll pass the authorization bearer token and all. And when I get that specific user ID, I will pass that result over here in the set form data. I will whatever data I'm getting, I'll pass his username and email over here in the results to this set form data. Set form data is nothing but it is like use state with having these two variables in its object, and this form data will be capturing it. Okay, and after that I will assign those variables like form.username and form.email ID. I will pre-fill the data over here in the form. Okay, so now you can see this pre-filled data because of these two lines. Okay, so if I just comment out these values, if I just comment out these values, I won't be seeing any data here. I'm not seeing any data. Okay, I was seeing that pre-filled data because of these two lines. Okay, and now if I click on update, what will happen, it will call out this handle submit. Okay, handle submit will again call this update user function, and it will pass the user's ID and the form data also. Okay, so this form data which is having the username and the email, which is basically having right now the updated values. If I update some values over here like blah blah things, it will update that data. Okay, and it will pass on this to the update user. It will take the user ID and updated data. Okay, and it will hit this API with specific user ID, and this will is the payload which front end is sending. Okay, and it will update the specific user's profile. So this is how this API is working. And now I was logged in as a Aksh12, I guess. Yeah, Aksh12. So now if I want to edit this user, I will say Aksh3. Let me just update it. So now as can be seen, I was able to update this user. Okay, I can update only this profile because I am logged in as this profile only. And I suppose I want to delete this user, I can delete it, but if I delete it, this profile will be gone. So let me just delete it. Okay, so now as can be seen, that profile is gone now. So this is how you can implement these functionalities. I just hope you guys like this tutorial. Thanks for watching. I will also provide the previous tutorial for reference in the description of this video, and also the source code. If you have any doubts, you can check out the tutorial. Thanks for watching.